What's going on, team? Got a quick video here for you. I just wanted to explain why P4P might not be working for your business, at least in the beginning. So follow along with me here. We're gonna run some P4P examples and kind of explain some of the trials and tribulations of P4P that I had to experience the hard way when I had employees yelling at me saying, hey, like, come on, man, we're out here, like, we're busting it, like, we're working so hard, like, how am I not making extra money right now? Like, I should be getting paid $25 an hour. Well, here's the breakdown for you, and here's what I didn't realize in the beginning. So what we're gonna assume, and I didn't write this up here, but what we're gonna assume is our base pay is $18 an hour. I'm gonna use real numbers from my location that I started for Mike Andy's last year and grew to $40,000 a month. So our base pay to attract good talent in Charlotte, North Carolina is $18 an hour. So we started at $70 an hour to the client, right? This is why Mike talks about what percentage this number is of this number. It should ideally be below, I think, 25%. Like if you're close to 20%, that's golden. This 18, I think, is 26% of 70, something like that. So it's really kind of pushing the line there. So what we're gonna go through here is, let's say in the beginning you get, your first handful of clients. You have 50 clients or so, right? Okay, so you got, 30 something budgeted hours on the schedule for the week. 7 budgeted hours per day for, let's say, your crew member, the first guy that you bring on. So you can send him on mowing and you're gonna go crush some projects, okay? So he does 7 budgeted hours at $70 an hour to the client. He brings in $490 for the business. His share of that is 33%. 33% of $490 is $161.70. When you divide that by his 10-hour workday, he worked from 7:30 to 5:30 in this example, he made $16.17 per hour. That's no good, man. He's below base pay. That sucks. We should probably fire him. No, that's a bad idea. So we're not going to fire him. His efficiency score was 70%. He got 7 budgeted hours done in a 10-hour day. It's very realistic. We'll talk about some strategies, possibly in another video, on how to combat that. So let's go to the next example, the next stage of business. So once I started getting to about $40,000 a month, we had 120 or so reoccurring customers. So now we're starting to get some route density, right? That's why this column is called density. We're still at 70 an hour to the client. So as you can see here, our crew member is simply doing more now. That's the only variable that changes in this entire problem. He does 8.5 budgeted hours instead of 7 in his 10-hour day, okay? So maybe the crew member got a little bit more efficient themselves, like they started to understand a little bit better, right? Maybe they didn't have to spend as long on properties because they're not as overgrown anymore. He's no longer stopping for lunch. He's not going through the McDonald's drive-thru. Also, you just have more houses in the same neighborhood. So instead of going to 5 different neighborhoods that day, he only has to go to 3, right? Because he's hitting a couple houses, just around the corner from the other ones, right? So 8.5 budgeted hours times 70. That is $595. He generated $105 more by working the same 10 hours, as you'll see in a second here. So $595. 33% of that is the team member's share. That would mean they made themselves $196.35 in a 10-hour day. That is $19.63. Congratulations, you got a $1.63 raise by doing 1.5 budgeted hours more in that day. Not bad. That's good. A lot of places you have to work there for a year, 2 years to get a $1, $2 raise, right? Our employees were able to earn that just by working hard and getting a little bit more done in the day. Themselves being efficient, but then also you as the owner or manager working harder. You pouring into them allows them to reap the rewards and pour back into you. So This was the first 3 months of Huntersville, maybe 4 months. This was month 5 and 6. It took a minute to get there. We had to start getting close to 120, 150 customers, start pushing that $40,000 a month envelope. Now, I'll tell you what Huntersville is doing this spring. We saw numbers better than this just last month in March when everything was just starting to grow. Things were getting overgrown. Clients coming out, talking to our crew members. We saw numbers better than this, but let's go through this example. Now, this year, we have raised Huntersville to $80 an hour. So, in this location, we are now charging the customer $80 an hour. But here's the key. You didn't lose your density. You still have 8.5 budgeted hours able to be done by any one team member, right? So now the only variable we're changing is how much we charge the client. So 8.5 times 80 is $680, right? They generated $85 more dollars just by raising the rate $10 for the customer. The crew had to work no harder, okay? The crew gets 33% of that, of course, as always. That means they come out or walk away at the end of the day with $224.40. Divide that by 10, $22.44 an hour. Nice. That's a $4.44 raise. Simply because you put the business in a position where it needed to be so that you could raise prices the following year. You can't do this until you hit capacity. So if you're an owner or you're a manager watching this and you're down here and your guys are 70, 75% efficient and they're not hitting P4P, well, this is why. Because the delta between these two, the delta from 70 times 0.33, 70 times 0.33 is $23.10 an hour. That $5.10 difference is not big enough for the crew. At 80, I think it's 26.20. Not sure, don't call me on that one. The delta's big enough there. The crew can now make more money. So, if your guys aren't hitting it, but their efficiency scores are decent, if their efficiency scores are 70% or above, this is why. This right here. We need to look at how do we get that budgeted hours up for what they can do in the day. Are they truly doing all they can and they just are spending a lot of what we call windshield time? Are they in the truck a lot? Or are they going and getting lunch? Are they on a project and are they running to the dump 3 times instead of just loading up the trailer, packing it down, jumping on it, loading it up again, and then taking it all in one go, So at first, how many budgeted hours? Then are we at the right hourly rate to the client? You have to do this as an owner and a manager. They have to do this jump for how many hours are getting done in the day themselves. So I hope this helped. Hope this made sense for somebody.